How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. In this episode, I'm doing another segment for Get to Know That Cosplayer. And the featured guest I have on for today is EMG 555, also known as Elias. How are you doing tonight, Elias?
Fantastic, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Again, thank you for wanting to come on here to talk about your cosplay and convention experience. And everything. So to begin, how long have you been cosplaying for?
Started cosplaying, I think, back in 2017.
So it's been 6 years?
Yeah, not that long.
10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 5 years. 5 years. That's nice.
Yeah.
What got you into wanting to be cosplay to begin with?
Well, I've lived in San Diego since 2005, and I've been going to the international comic conventions pretty much since then. And the more I went to, the more I kind of realized I wanted a different experience. So I started to take notice of all the cosplayers, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty fun. It looks like they're having a good time. And I thought to myself, what if I tried it? What would it be like? Would it change my my experience with the convention? So 1 year I gave it a try. 2017, did my first cosplay. Didn't spend a lot of money on it because I was just curious to know what it was like to cosplay and be out there. And so I didn't spend a lot of money, not a lot of creativity, honestly. Just kind of put something together with compression pants and a shirt. And I commissioned someone at the local comic shop who built who fashioned like a collar onto the compression shirt. And I just went as Green Lantern, just a John Stewart Green Lantern. And I had a prop, a green gun, and I bought the cosplay boots online, So anyway, I pieced everything together, had a pretty decent reaction, But I guess the best part was just being able to feel like I was becoming a part of a new group, a new genre, a new family in cosplay. So that was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of people that had the same interest. So it kind of opened the door for me that way. So no regrets.
Nice.
But yeah.
What was it like going to your very first convention roughly about 17 years ago?
It was crazy. It was like a kid in a candy store. I think my head was on a swivel. I just could not believe all the stuff that was there. It's like my whole childhood just came rushing back. And so I would see something and just be mind blown because I haven't seen it in so long, since I was a kid. So I took interest in like almost literally everything I saw. I had to stop and take pictures. I had to stop and look. I had to stop and ask, and so it was.
I imagine it was a culture shock for you.
It was a culture shock in a great way, and I loved it. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna come back. This is it. This is like where I belong.
Nice. So you said your very first cosplay was John Stewart Green Lantern?
Yes.
Nice. What was it like cosplaying such an iconic DC character who's also a member of the Justice League?
Well, it was fun, but I think the part for me was it was cheap, and it was a foot in the door in the cosplay community. So I
start somewhere.
Really, there was really no strategy other than just it was cheap and it was quick and it was easy, it was safe, and people, I assumed people would recognize it. So, but in retrospect, looking back, to answer your question, it was quite. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because this guy, I ended up just horrible, but I did my research on him way after I had cosplayed him. Then I took interest in him, and I read his backstory. Sometimes I'm backwards like that. I read his backstory and all that kind of stuff, and I was impressed. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. It was a great idea.
Nice. I mean, sometimes, going the cheap route for your first cosplay is not a bad thing. It's just, like you said, getting your foot in the door and just going from there.
Exactly. Yeah. So it served its purpose, but I'm glad it did.
What convention was that for when you cosplayed as John Stewart?
Oh God, that wasn't in San Diego. That had to have been in I think that was at WonderCon in Anaheim.
That's a pretty big con too.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Now, from someone who lives in San Diego, I imagine you've gone to San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, plenty of times. Yeah, I'd say so. As a matter of fact, I'm literally 9, 12 blocks from the convention center.
So
it's
you're like
not-
walking distance basically.
totally, yeah. It's about a 10, 11 minute walk.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's not far.
What was it
Not
like
far.
going to San Diego Comic-Con? Because I know that con's like basically, I hate to say it, it's like the Disney World of the cosplay community.
Yeah, it's international, so you got people from all over the world that travel just to be there. I mean, this convention made more money in 4 days than the entire football team, the Chargers, when they were here in town. So no, seriously.
I believe you, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But I'm glad it's here. I hope it doesn't go away. It's always my favorite convention, no matter how much I complain about it every year because of the heat and the people and all that. But
I mean, yeah, people will complain about it, but you gotta admit it's that one con that people have to go to once just to see what it's like.
that's what I tell everybody. That's true. That's very true.
Nice. So on that topic, what kind of advice would you like to give for someone who's wanted to go to their first convention, whether it's a small one or a big one like San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah, I think I probably have 2 pieces of advice. One would be find a designated meeting spot, because sometimes you get lost. And the convention, like we were saying, is the foot traffic is so high, and it's just a sea of people, and there's really no traffic control. So you got people going in every direction. So find a spot that you agree on with your friends or a friend that you would meet in case you get lost, so it's not so overwhelming. Let me see. Another piece of advice I'd give you is use cash. Use cash, and that way you can budget. You can budget better when you use cash, because you're going to see a lot of things that you're going to want to buy. You're going to want to spend money fast.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, you'll burn a hole in your pocket. So budget your money, take $100, $200, whatever, and just say, hey, this is going to be set aside strictly for comic convention junk. I'm going to use this $200 and that's it, because it is very overwhelming. So much to look at, and you want to buy everything. So
oh yeah, no, I think I'm one of those people. Now I've been told about San Diego Comic-Con for like was someone I interviewed a while back who was gone, and they were saying like even if you can't go inside to pay to go, like there's always stuff outside you can like look at and everything. Is that true?
that's very true. Oh yeah, and there's just as amount as people inside or outside as there is inside. So there's definitely plenty of stuff to do outside. It's cheaper.
And you don't have to pay for a ticket, which I know they're expensive. It's like as a buddy of mine put it, it's basically like a lottery system to get into San Diego Comic-Con.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I've gotten in without hitting big on the lottery system. I've snuck in.
Hey, I imagine everyone's done that every now and again.
Possibly.
I mean, like you said, the traffic is so huge, like no one's gonna like, oh, you don't,
Yeah, I mean, I've stuck my way in. I've bought tickets off friends. I've been given passes as a gift. I lucked out at work at a raffle. Just every year it's just been different for me the way I've gotten in. So it's tough. It is tough.
Now before we talk about your other convention experience, there's one cosplay I want to talk cosplay viewers I want to talk about because I saw it on your Instagram when we were talking. What was it like cosplaying as Reptile from Mortal Kombat?
Oh well, that's a cosplay I call a backyard cosplay. I didn't do it at a convention. It was just I felt like doing it just for fun. I've actually wanted to tap into that genre for a long time, the Mortal Kombat, and I thought Reptile was great because the style, the makeup that's involved with it, it's kind of right up my alley. So I like Reptile things. So it's pretty cool. We just did it in a day. It took us maybe an hour and a half or so to get the makeup up on, and we walked across the street to the park and did pictures. That was it.
Nice. Yeah, for anyone who's curious, this is that right there. Nice. Who did the makeup on that one?
So that was done by an artist named Sven Minas. He's actually from Germany. He's actually my wig maker as well. He makes my custom wigs. So I get him shipped in from Germany, but he happened to be in the area at the time that weekend. So we collaborated on this. He's also a makeup artist.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh no, definitely. So some of your convention experiences and everything, well, actually more along the lines of actually cosplay first. When it comes to a cosplayer wanting to cosplay, would you recommend, if they're on a budget, would you recommend thrift shopping and everything, or buying, like, going the cheap route first for their first cosplay if they're on a budget?
Sure, why not? Yeah, why not? But the thing is that you got to understand is when you cosplay, you're always taking a chance on the outcome anyway. So it doesn't matter. I mean, you can spend a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money on a cosplay, and I've not spent a lot of money. And sometimes I wasn't satisfied, and sometimes I was blown away of the outcome. So you never know what you're going to get. But just do whatever you feel like doing. Um, my best advice on that actually would be, I would definitely encourage cosplayers to commission or employ their local artists. Go with those seamstress or those prop makers, makeup artists, photographers that are in your area, because they're starving for a creative outlet too.
Oh no, they definitely are. Not only that, you're also, like, when you're going to a con, you're basically a walking piece of art. You're showing off what they made.
Exactly. So I definitely would encourage you to find your local artists and collaborate with them. You can throw your money at these corporations and get these in-tie suits or whatever they are, and but I think there's just something very unique about working with someone and brainstorming and coming up with visuals and ideas, and then bringing it to fruition. I just think that organic creativity is just what really gets me. So
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. And just some people got to know that sometimes a commissioner can charge whatever price because they're putting their time and effort into said, whether it's a prop or a cosplay or even a wig.
right.
Speaking of, what would you say the biggest cosplay is that you've ever done? Like, it took longer than expected to get done and get ready for con.
Probably Killer Croc.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because that one actually we used it was a custom prosthetic on the face, and part of the headpiece was custom made, and we used what's called a tattoo transfer for parts of my arm and my back. And so when you use those things, they have to be set perfectly before you peel it off, or it's going to look crooked or uneven. So there was a lot of small details that went into that one that took a little bit extra time. But you know what? I don't even sweat it anymore, because to me, it's the adrenaline of getting pieced together, putting on some music, blaring it, and just going to work and just creating something.
Nice. So what was it like cosplaying as Killer Croc? Because I know, like, in the comics, or even in the Suicide Squad movie, he's like a big, reptilian humanoid type character. Did you, like, sweat at all or anything under the mask or anything like that? Because I know, like, again, that's a pretty big cosplay.
Yeah, it's a prosthetic, not a mask, but yeah, it was. Well, especially because I did it here in San Diego, and it was in the 90s outside, so it was pretty hot.
Oh geez, that's
Yeah,
like,
definitely. But having no shirt on, of course, it made it a little easier. But still,
yeah, I'm
running around like a crazy person, going from place to place, room to room, and
yeah,
so
I'm looking at it right now, and it's really, like, it's really well done. If you hadn't told me that it was like tattoo transfer, that's really impressive. Props to all the makeup artists who help you with your cosplays and everything.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely, yes, yeah. That one there was done by Jonathan Aspinall. He's at Crocaw on
Crow
Instagram.
effects, nice. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
looking at
yeah.
his work right now. Wow, yeah, he does some really good, some really good detail work, man. Yeah, no, I'm looking at all your cosplays, and definitely you like going above and beyond, and I can't really say that's a bad thing, because that's right there. That just shows how dedicated you are to cosplaying that character.
Yeah, thank you. I've just never really been uh, attracted to, I guess, taking the easy way out sometimes on cosplay. I feel like, it's your chance to really be creative, to think outside the box, and really show what you got. Um, I just feel like it's just more of an exciting experience for me, rather than just buying a suit, putting it on, and showing up and seeing 20 other people just like me.
Hey, no, I get it. Another cosplay I want to talk about yours because again, I'm looking at I'm looking at the cosplays you've done. Your the correct you can correct me on the name of this. Your biker mice from outer space. What was that like having not only the prosthetic but also the ears as well?
Yeah, that was one we took a chance on. That was also a backyard cosplay, so we didn't. That was never at a convention. We spent maybe 2.5 hours on makeup. Um, all the clothes were custom, and then we got a photographer and shot some pics. Threw it on the gram.
Jeez, yeah, no. I have to give again shout out to Crow Call FX for doing such amazing um work. That's really again, for I mean, I'm gonna show a picture, but again, for those who, again, that it's really impressive, man.
Thank
Um,
you.
so aside from your Killer Croc one, because I think a good majority of this interview is gonna be talking about some of the makeup you've had done to yourself. Aside from Killer Croc, and the biker mice from outer space, well, I guess, ever had any issues where when you got the makeup on and everything, did like the paint like start to sweat and everything, or like one of the prosthetics like ripped or tear before on any of your cosplays?
Oh, of course, yeah. There's always these small things that happen unexpectedly. I've had so one time I was Morbius, and I had a cheap wig. This is before I decided to invest in good wigs. I had a cheap wig on, and I didn't think about how it was so heavy that it weighed down one of my ears. So my ears were supposed to go like this, and the wig weighed the other ear down so it flopped to the side. So I had to walk around the convention like that all day. That was terrible. I felt really bad. Um, we created my Black Mask, DC's Comics Black Mask.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's again.
So, yeah, that's a custom prosthetic also, of my face. And what happened was, oh, so the character doesn't have ears,
No, he doesn't. It's
right?
like they're
Yeah,
like
he has no ears.
they're not even there because depending on which version you're doing, like the version you do where later on the mask basically becomes part of his face.
Right. So, and that's the visual I was basing this project on. Well, when we were attaching the prosthetic, it hit me that my ears were showing. We did a selfie just to see how it was adjusting. And I said, well, oh, you know what? This guy doesn't have ears. So what are we gonna do? Because we didn't create a prosthetic piece to go over the ears. So what I did was, later on that day, I was gonna come back, or was it maybe the day before? I had just previously done uh, the Silverhawk guy, Colonel Bluegrass,
Yeah, I saw
and
that
he
one
had
too.
he had prosthetic pieces that covered the ear. So we just took those pieces from that one, painted it black, and glued it on. So save the
Basically,
day.
you basically recycled and reused for Black
Right,
Mask.
right.
Nice.
So one of those. And I've had things rip, and I remember I was when I did Apocalypse, we were finished from the convention, and we were waiting on a cab. While I sat down on a concrete bench, and I thought to myself, why? I think I just sat in a puddle of water or something wet. But when I stood up and I felt myself back there, the entire back of my pants had
Mhm.
ripped. So those were my bare butt cheeks on
You basically had
but it was so cold it felt like it was wet.
you had like a SpongeBob rip his pants moments. That's
Exactly.
never fun having a cosplay. Whether it's you're doing it for a photo shoot or just walking around the con, it's never fun when something rips, falls off, tears, or
No.
just like something just drops off your cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just never fun. So what's that one character that it was kind of a one and done. You cosplayed him once to see what it's like, but you never cosplayed him since because it's just something you really weren't really into, or it's just something just didn't work out.
All of them. I don't. No, I don't go back. I don't redo any cosplays. I do it. I cast it away. That's it. It's one shot deal.
Then there's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, yeah. I mean, I've talked to some cosplayers on here who've said that all of them are one and done. There's nothing wrong with that because you always want to try something new, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I kind of feel like once I do something, I put all my thought and creativity and my time and effort into it, along with the artist I'm working with. And after that, I do it, and that's it. I feel like the nuance is just gone, so it's not exciting for anymore. So it's like, what's the point of putting on the same shit? So
yeah, I can't argue with that.
Try to up the last one I did.
You can answer this question too. It's kind of the same. Is there any cosplay that you would like to redo? Like it didn't really work the first time, but you wouldn't mind trying the second time to make it better in a sense?
Morbius. If I did one again, if
it'd be Morbius, just to make sure you don't have the ear issue.
The ear issue. Yeah, I would probably redo the prosthetic. Definitely a better wig. Yeah, it would be Morbius for sure.
Nice. Now another question I always ask: ever had any convention or cosplay horror stories or any interesting funny experiences? I always try to bring some humor into this podcast. What's the weirdest experience you've ever had while either cosplaying or at a convention?
Yeah, I paid $5 for soda at LA Comic-Con. That was ridiculous. I can't believe how much they hiked the prices up in there. That's just a horror story on its own.
Just like a regular can of soda, or
can of soda, yeah. At the one of the food trucks in the back.
$5 for just a regular can?
I'm not kidding.
Usually they're like $2-3 at least, or $1 or $1. That's, well, I mean, I know San Diego Comic-Con likes to up, and I'm not bashing on the con, anyone who's listening to this, but from what I've heard over the past year of doing this podcast, all I hear from about San Diego Comic-Con, it could be a little pricey or something's overpriced. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they can't. But other than, I was just kind of making light of that question, but other than that, I guess you said any horror stories or anything strange?
Yeah.
Not really anything I don't think anyone else has experienced. You know, I've had my share of interesting comments, and I've had you know, I had a guy who oh, okay, this is weird. So I had someone followed me, a photographer followed me to the restroom and asked if he could photograph me at the urinal. So that was strange.
Alrighty then, that's just not weird or creepy at all.
Sure, yeah, you know.
Just like personal space, dude. You don't need to follow me while I'm taking a piss.
Right.
That's just. I mean, I've heard some interesting stuff, but having a photographer follow you to the bathroom and asking you, that's just a little what are they doing afterwards?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Other than that, no, not really, man. It's been pretty great experience all the way around.
Nice. Yeah. Any funny experiences? I think I asked that, but any other funny experiences you've had? Something it was an experience that made you laugh, I guess.
That made me laugh.
It's one. I don't think it's a question I've ever asked before on here.
Okay, so I was at a Monster Palooza a couple years ago, and this is another bathroom story. I guess everything happens to me in the restroom. So I was in the bathroom. I was waiting for a urinal. I was kind of leaning against the wall, and I had a Jason Voorhees mask on, but it was backwards, so it was on the back of my head, and I was the only one, actually, I was the only one waiting for a urinal to open up. Well, in comes Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees in several of the movies.
Nice.
Yeah, he walks in, sees me standing there, and he goes, well, hey, this is some fucking guy with a mask on standing by the urinal. You know, just kind of condescending like that in a funny way. And I turned around, it was him. I was like, just kind of, nodded my head in acknowledgement and bowed a little bit,
Yeah,
gave him
man.
his praise because he is, the Jason Voorhees.
Oh yeah, playing it like well, good chunk of the films in the past very long time.
Yeah, so I got my recognition from Kane Hodder. That's my glory story.
Nice.
Yeah,
You,
and in an
you,
unconventional way, but it happened.
I feel like if you could meet like just out of the blue, if you meet one of your favorite, actors just out of the blue, not like at their booths, I think that's pretty cool. Because then I think that's honestly, I think meeting him just having them confront you at a con instead of you confronting them at their booth is, I feel like is 10 times better because you're not having to wait in the line or have them sign the autograph. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it also shows that they're there for the fans a little bit,
Oh
and
yeah.
it opens up a chance for dialogue with them too, for conversation. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, most definitely. Um, so what's it been like working with all these makeup artists for doing your the help with your cosplays over the past 5 years?
I would not have it any other way. I would not have it any other way. It's been the best experience. The best part about it really is just being in the presence of other artists and being able to bounce ideas and to dream and create and just be let those kind of things flow together, as a team, and just bring something to creation and feel proud about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you say the hardest part about putting getting the makeup and prosthetics on is when it comes to any of the characters you've done?
The hardest part about putting it on, I think, would be spraying near the putting paint near the eyes. Ooh. Because most of it's alcohol-based paint, especially if you're going to be outside or you're going to be in a convention for hours. You want to use the alcohol-based paint, so that stuff is fierce, man. You get it in your eyes, it's going to burn. It's going to burn bad. So it's getting the small parts of your eyes covered in the alcohol-based paint. That's the hardest. That's the part I dislike the most. But again, no regrets.
Nice. Now, have you ever tried to apply any body paint to yourself before when doing any of your cosplays?
No, not in cosplay. When I was younger, in school, when I was like in high school and stuff like that, I would do my own, of course. But my mom would do my makeup when I was even younger, when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
So she was your very first makeup artist then, huh?
She was, yeah, and definitely. She came through for me. I think that's what kind of got me interested in just dealing with mostly paint with cosplays, because I grew up with that stuff. I was always my face was always painted. I would always want paint on my face, and I would want to keep it there. Nice. Especially for Halloween. Like if my mom painted my face for Halloween, I'd want to keep the paint on. She would have to make me wash it off. No lie.
Oh yeah, I hear that. And I think anyone can attest to this, especially people who have beards. When it comes to body paint, you're gonna have to sacrifice your beard if you want to do like a full on body face paint.
Absolutely. That's one thing I don't look forward to as well, is having to shave. And you guys out there listening know if you have beards, you know exactly what you look like without a beard. And with a beard is the way you want to go. So,
but for the sake of like that cosplay, especially if they require like either the face or whole full body, is like, well, you're gonna have to sacrifice you're gonna have to shave just to do it.
Right. Yeah, it'll grow back. It'll always grow back, but it's worth the sacrifice though. I enjoy it.
Nice.
Definitely enjoy it.
Also, when you're doing your quote unquote backyard cosplay photo shoots, what's it like working with the photographers when they're not trying to follow you to the bathroom?
Right. Yeah. So photographers are, it's like a game of Russian roulette, honestly. Sometimes a lot of times you'll get ones that are just as enthusiastic and gung-ho as you are. And then sometimes, you'll get some where you'll get the results that aren't as great as you thought they'd be. So definitely, and I learned a big lesson with photographers, and I don't know if anyone has ever had this experience too, but pay your photographers, man, or actually better yet, be careful who what photographers you work with, because sometimes especially the ones that don't charge you, they work for free.
Ooh.
Because then they'll oftentimes, and not all of them, I'm not saying all,
No.
but you'll run the risk of having a photographer who will want to claim stake to all of your work, and they'll feel like, well, I did it for free, so I'm going to sit on these photos for a couple months, and or hey, I did it for free, so I'm entitled to go ahead and post whatever I want when I want, without your your blessing. So you'll get that, and I learned that the hard way. I've had to tear down some bridges because of that, and so I really value. It helped me value, what photographers I work with in the future.
And
So,
I'm sure, whether it's for your makeup or for photographers, I think you can. I'm sure you can agree with this, and those who are listening, always do your research. Whether you're looking for someone to do your makeup or having someone to do your photos, always do your research. And from what I've been told, always, if you can, bring a friend with you as well. I'm sure you can agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah, bring a friend, and also make sure you hash out the details. Even go as far as signing a contract. Bring a contract if that makes you feel better about the situation. There's nothing wrong with that, and make sure you guys come to an agreement. Hey, when am I going to get these photos back? How much do I owe you? Who's gonna, are we agreeing that we'll both find the same pics that we like before we post them? Make
Mhm.
sure you get all of those things out of the way,
Well, yeah,
and it
no.
makes the transaction a lot smoother. And also you want to build bridges. So
And it's a great way to build contacts, so you can let your friends know about, hey, this is who did this and that. Feel free to reach out to them, kind of thing.
absolutely.
Nice. Now, this is one question I've asked, like, one time in a podcast panel talking about wig and makeup styling, and I rarely get to ask. When a cosplayer is wanting to have prosthetics or full on makeup on them, what sort of advice would you want to give for cosplayers who are thinking about doing full on body paint and prosthetics?
Hmm.
Because now
That's,
thinking about it with the stuff you do, it's like I don't think I've ever asked that question before.
yeah, that's a good question. The best advice I would say is don't feel like you have to spend a ton of money on a high quality prosthetic. You can get them really cheap on mostlydead.com.
Mostly dead. I'll make sure to put that in the
Yeah,
when they're during the video so people can check it out.
mostlydead.com. That's the only secret I'm going to share with you, okay? Because very I'm very protective about my stuff. So anyway, go on that website. You can find a lot of prosthetics there, a lot of other things, accessories and stuff. But you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can find them for a lot cheap, even Amazon and eBay too as well.
Oh yeah, and Etsy too, because I've seen people make like nose and ear and scarring and blood prosthetics on there too.
Mm,
Yeah,
definitely.
mostly.
And
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
was going to say with the paint, you've got if you don't want to spend a lot of money on paint, you're going to go with water-based, but be careful because that runs. And if you sweat, it'll also, it'll run and leave spots and things like that. So especially under the arms, that's usually where it happens first. So, if you want to go big, go with the alcohol-based paint, but do it. I encourage every cosplayer to do it, man. Switch it up, switch gears a little bit. There's too many, you see one Nightwing, you've seen them all. You see one Spider-Man, you've seen them all. Like, don't be afraid to branch out, even if it's something that people aren't very familiar with. That's kind of who we are, is we're a conduit to bringing light and recognition to these characters.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Even if they're not mainstream, reach out and do it, because I guarantee you there are people out there who will know exactly who you are, and they'll love you for life because you brought back their childhood, or you recognize one of their favorite characters, or hey, I totally forgot about that guy or that
Oh
girl.
yeah, yeah. No,
Stand out.
like I said, seeing your biker mice from outer space, like, wow. I don't think I've ever seen go that length to cosplay such an iconic cartoon character from the 80s. Like, I gotta ask, what was the inspiration behind cosplaying that specific character from that show?
It was a dream. It was a dream. I dreamed. They were in my dream. I was dreaming about the cartoon because I used to watch it.
Nice.
And it hit me one day. I got up for work, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this one. That's it. So I started looking at visuals online, and started collecting pictures on Pinterest and all that. I was like, I can make this happen.
Now I know you have like a lot of tattoos and everything. When you do like a full body paint, how many layers of body paint does it take to cover up your tattoos and everything?
Wow, I never thought of that. I'd say no more than 2. Yeah, I think that would be a better question for Jonathan, actually, because he's the one that's covered them up. But it doesn't seem like a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, and I think that has a lot to do with the integrity of the paint that he uses, maybe. Yeah, but it's not something where we sit and we struggle over. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, because like I said, I've been looking at I saw that you have tattoos, and I'm looking at some of the stuff you've done, and you can't even see the tattoos, which I think is pretty cool. Definitely going to that level of detail. 2 more, well, like 3 more questions. Any dream cosplays you have in mind? Like characters you've always wanted to do but never had like the chance to do it.
Oh, for sure. I've got a couple on my hit list. Have you seen the movie Legend with Tim Curry, Tom Cruise? It was like Tom Cruise's first movie, 1984.
Yeah, I know exactly where Tim Curry plays as like that devil demonic character. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw that movie like holy, and I remember watching like a video of Tim Curry going through that process. That's just the mainly like the horns and how big his head was. That's like a big prosthetic in itself.
Right. That's what I want to do. I want to do Darkness is the name of Tim Curry's character. So I want to do him with walk on stilts with the goat legs and the horns and all that. That's a dream cosplay for me.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone cosplay that character from what he's from, and in person at least. Probably online someone's probably cosplayed him, but like that'd be pretty cool to see in person.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I definitely want to give that one a try. Cthulhu, I think that would be pretty cool.
Who?
The Cthulhu.
Oh, Cthulhu. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, who? Nice. Yeah. That's like, it's pretty cool to see, cosplayers, or not even just just people in general who love body paint or prosthetics wanting to do these characters from all sources of media. I think that'd be pretty cool to see Darkness and Cthulhu, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I think that'd be pretty cool. I definitely want to do Brainiac from DC Comics, but I want to do the full armor with the tentacles and go all out with all that.
Nice.
Dope. I got a great idea for MODOK.
Wait, MODOK, is he the one that floats and sits in that has that hover chair type thing with a big
giant toilet? Yeah, that's him. Yeah. MODOK. But I got a great idea to do him, so that's definitely down the pipe. I kind of like the idea of, I don't know if you know this guy, his name's Parasite. He's from DC Comics too.
No, I'm not familiar with a lot of DC characters.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. How do you spell his name? Is it with a Y or with an I? Continue talking. I'm actually kind of looking up now.
P-A-R-A. I think it's, if you just type in Parasite, DC Comics.
All right. Parasite. DC Comics. Oh, so him?
Yes.
That's a lot of purple. Holy crap. That's some menacing looking SOB. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat.
Nice.
So yeah, I got a couple lined up that I really like to.
I can tell you like to go above and beyond, and I have to say there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to do it, but just also know, you gotta I feel like you gotta be mentally prepare yourself to do a big cosplay like that. And from what you've been telling me, it seems like you've had the experience of not just mentally preparing yourself to go above and beyond with those cosplays you've done.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely takes a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of creativity, a lot of detail. But it's worth it. I mean, why not? You know, if I'm going to cosplay and do this, I'm going to put everything into it. You know, this is definitely my favorite hobby. I love to take it serious. I believe that it's just it's a great way to
It shows you're
you know,
dedicated. That's for sure.
yeah, show dedication and creativity for sure.
Nice. Um. Now, two more questions before we end this.
Sure.
What advice would you like to give for first-time cosplayers and con goers out there who are like considering on getting into this hobby or wanted to see what a convention is like? Just in like anything, any advice at all?
That are trying to get into the hobby of cosplay.
Yeah.
Any advice? I would say my advice would be, that's a good question. I never thought of it.
Yeah, I always every episode interview podcast panel, I always throw that curveball question because it really makes them think, and none of this is scripted for anyone who's watching.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. My advice to you would be, if you're going to cosplay, I would say again, don't limit yourself to doing what everyone else is doing. Do something that, you know, if you see something, you read something, or you dream about something, do it. Do that person, that character. Don't worry about if it's someone who's popular in the movies or who's, you know, what everyone else is doing. Do your thing. Be different. Think outside the box.
And it doesn't hurt to do your research too, just in case you want to know a little bit about the character.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, do your research. You know, look up pictures. I collect photos all the time of different. When I have ideas, I have, you know, tons of visuals that I collect, and I go back. You know, yeah.
Nice. And the internet is your best friend too on that.
Yeah, Google's your friend.
Nice. Same question, but pertaining to those who are considered on again, first time con goers. I know I asked that earlier, but anything else you want to add to that for anyone who's considering on going to their first convention to see what it's like, see if it's something that they're like into?
You know, just go to have fun. Just go to have fun. You know, escape. Take your brain out of your head, put it in a box, go in there and just have fun. You know, don't be afraid to ask for an autograph or to approach, you know, your favorite celebrity, whoever's in there. Just go in there and do it. Have fun. Take pictures.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like, it's definitely good to have pictures so you can, like, you know, years down the road you can look back and see what it's like going to your very first con kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So before we go, any last minute thing you would like to add into this for this interview? Anything at all that comes to your, that the first thing that pops to your head?
You know, just shout out to all the podcaster hosts and all these different outlets and platforms that are giving us a voice and a chance to you know, for everybody to get to know us and things like that. You guys are doing a great thing, so thank you again. And thanks to all you artists and all you creators and all you thinkers that are, you know, constantly outside the box and you're creating. Just thank you for that. So let's stay hungry.
Oh yeah, no. Again, okay, how do you pronounce it? Is it Elias?
Exactly.
Again, Elias, thank you for coming on to want to be part of this podcast and everything. Why is my okay,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Oh, whoa. Oh, wait, I froze for some reason. What happened? Oh no.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, that is weird. Well, apparently my video doesn't want to show anymore for some reason. But again, thank you, Elias, for coming on to this episode for Cosplay Con Talk. Again, for those who can't see me, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for listening to this episode of Get to Know That Cosplayer. Until next time, thank you for listening and thank you for watching.